Hello, everyone, and welcome to Old World. Whoa. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We have a map for you now. Okay, hold on. Let me just double check that we are live. I cannot believe this map right now. Gotta double check that we're live. Bear with me. Pretty sure we are, so. Yep, we are live. Okay. So, uh, we have ThePurpleBullMoose and Mongreleyes here in the Old World Tournament for Duelists Network Tournament. This is the craziest map. Their settings are, so the settings we've chosen here are dual, square, continent map. Oh, hold on, we got some feedback possibly. Let me just make sure that I'm covered here. Okay, we have a dual square continent map. However, the issue that we accidentally have is that, not accidentally, I mean, it's map generation, right? It's random. There are technically two continents. I'm not 100% sure if I should warn these guys about this situation or just let them duke it out on their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 city site continent. We have a scholar for the ThePurpleBullMoose. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation here. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 city sites on the map as far as I can tell. That's probably not correct. Yeah, 5, 5, and 3 in the middle. So there is the normal amount of city sites. However, our players are stuck on this tiny continent up in the north. Our good ThePurpleBullMoose has elected to go with an inspiring scholar as Greece. Artisan start going right into the Odeon. So this is clearly a culture rush, which gives me a sense that, yep, the Colosseum is in the game. So he's wasting no time. He's going to try and get this within 50 to 70 turns, no doubt. The Mausoleum is also in the game, which is one of the quicker paths to get this combo. You basically rush yourself to strong, you build yourself the Mausoleum, and then you get to the Colosseum. We could, it's entirely possible we could have our first map recreation because they will bump into each other in just a few turns. And and they'll very rapidly realize that they are on a tiny slither of a continent. So it's possible our players might decide to mulligan this match, but you know, we'll find out. We're gonna wait and find out. Mongreleyes is up next for choosing his nation. We have some groves in the starting region, some pigs, dye. So that's pearls. So that's one precious. We have a really, really great trader's site up north, and we have Axum. Very, very nice. And we have an Axumite schemer. So let's take an opening comparison to our two wisdom-based opponents. We have 19 science on Mongreleyes compared to 16 science on our Purple Moose. Off to a good start. Slight advantage on the science to the schemer, but of course the scholar can direct wherever they want to go in the tech tree. And we're off to some scouting. We'll see if he decides to purchase orders on his very first turn. Going to be looking for that tribal site. Can't find it at the moment. They do know their free site is nearby. They are on simultaneous for the first few turns until there is conflict. And I suspect there will be very early conflict. They will only have access to 3 city sites before needing to contest a central site. The top site will be an insane patron site, so that will be highly contested. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 precious resources. So that is 150% culture on the top half. And we did elect to purchase some orders for legitimacy. Very, very powerful ability of the schemer that allows you to get a very strong opening. We're also electing we have a steadfast schemer, so he's going straight for clearing.
Do I have to start the game?
I'm in as well. I'm still just doing my first turn.
Oh, just want to make sure I'm not missing something.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if you heard that, but Moose and Mongrel are in a call with me already, so you might hear them chat from now and then. Again, I can't remember if I have it configured so you can hear them in the call. Okay. So, yes, we have a steadfast schemer. He's making a general. Great thing about buying orders on the first turn as a schemer is that you can do everything that you want to do. You can move your scout completely. You can move and assign a general to your military unit. And, of course, you can improve a resource and assign a governor. We have an intelligent governor as well. So we're already up to 22 science. 6 science advantage over Moose. Moose has identified the starting site. He's going to be a little bit behind on this momentum clearing because we don't have steadfast. He does have the option to get ranger to speed that clear time up a little bit, but of course he will spawn a unit, whereas Mongreleyes will successfully clear the camp in time. Artisan Capital allows us 2 workers to start improving right away. So we're going to get a leg up on growth over here. And we're going to be ramping up our settler time. This is because the leader is in the capital for that 2 extra growth, whereas Mongreleyes opted to put in a different character and general his leader. Divination being researched first from the Moose, and divination as well on the Axumites. They've encountered each other for the first time, so they're about to become aware of just how dire their map situation is. I suspect they will have themselves a bit of a chuckle in a moment here. Man, crazy. All right, divination researched for the Axumites. 1 turn ahead on Moose. This is a very interesting map. I will be curious if either one of them will attempt to expand to the other coast. Interestingly enough, double victory has been enabled per agreement with our players. So this is the first match of the tournament, as far as I'm aware, that has kept double victory enabled. So in theory, it would be possible to achieve victory by being the first player to expand out into this second island. We have a pause timer. I might just be noticing that for the first time, so I will bring it up. Also, just pointing out to you fellas, the timer is paused.
Thank you, Sion.
All right, thank you.
All right. So yeah, the timer has resumed, and yeah, we are cooking with clearing. This schemer has gone straight up to the next spot. It would be interesting to see if bullmoose will spot this and attempt to contest, be aggressive. He has gone for his camp, and of course he would. That's a result of not moving his scout first, which, is fine. He doesn't need to move his scout first. However, he does have the orders, and if he had moved that scout, he would have been able to keep an eye on the fact that this slinger is going to take a decent amount of damage next turn. Another 4, and maybe he would have been able to make the decision to come up and contest this central site if he wants. Second city for the Moose, very interesting. Very interesting here because we have a non-military seat. We're going very greed on Greece, greedy Greece strategy. I love it. Love to see it. But he does have that city momentum. We'll see what a duelist ends up building next. But we do have our settler. This could be tricky to clear. In fact, bullmoose could end up in quite a bit of trouble here. That'll be 6 damage per turn. And, oh, thank God. My thinking was, if this warrior stepped onto this tile, Moose would have been locked in between these mountains. He did not take Ranger promotion on that warrior, so that's going to take about 6 damage every turn. He might struggle to clear that site. All right. Doing some harvesting. He now knows that Mongreleyes has secured the central site. I'd be curious if Mongrel goes for a forward settle here. Let's keep eyes on Mongrel for now. Mongrel does know that he's encountered the capital, so Mongrel has the first concept of how close they are. He's thinking, holy crap. Hopefully he'll kind of deduce that there's a lot more map on the bottom. It might take him a moment. He might have to look at the timeline the way that I'm doing to kind of get a sense of the fact that there is, in fact, a whole lot of map left. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this from Moose here. I think he's going to have to back off. I think he's going to lose some clearing time and have to heal up. He's got one more hit, and he would be able to hit this and clear next turn. Honestly, if... Oh, so close. If Mongreleyes can spot this, he could even elect... He is going for the central forward settle. He could elect to forgo killing this and just come right over here. Yep. He's going to have to back off. That is a big bummer for Bull Moose. Okay, we have a very, very interesting game heating up. We're going for a slinger second in the capital. I honestly appreciate this, and the main reason why I appreciate this is because he's going for a forward settle here, and one of the most important things you do need in this type of closed quarter matchup is a second military unit. So I guess if you're not going to settle right away and get that started, you might as well start your second military unit. It is going to delay him on settling, but Mongreleyes isn't going to catch any flack for that because Moose completely had his clearing time messed up. What he needs to do, all right, he nailed it. He nailed it. He got that ranger promotion so he can heal up. He went greed here as well with a worker in the city. So he might, yeah, with ranger he can clear this with the one warrior. I need to get a sense of how many turns the unit's gonna take. Might be too much. Oh, Moose. Moose. He's headed right back out with the wounded warrior. This is very, very tense to look at. We are promoting again. We have Besieger, so let's take a look at that. We have champions right in the center. Bold, strong settled, strong forward settle, right in the center of the map. And Moose is going to spot that, I think. Yep, Moose can spot that. And he's going to come up and put this warrior in danger. He definitely will be able to two-shot this camp and clear it. How much time does he have left? He has 3 turns. This is amazing action in this tournament. We're only on turn 10 and things are already really intense. Lots of tension. First ambitions coming up. We have 5 workers, 6 farms, or 6 technologies. He might opt just to take the experience for now. He's taking 6 technologies. Makes sense. He is a schemer. He'll be able to plow through that pretty easily. All right. Still greed from Greece. We're continuing this settler even though we don't have any place to go. This schemer is going to heal up. Let's check out this crit chance on this schemer. It's a 26% chance to crit. Mongreleyes has his eyes on Bull Moose. A settler coming up. Oh, he's going to just need... Moose is going to need 2 more hits to take out this camp. Mongreleyes could come up, oh my goodness, with a militia and steal this camp. Moose could get locked in without a champion's family as Greece. This game could be over so quickly. I apologize. I am just sitting here speechless at the situation. My mouth is literally open. I cannot believe what we're dealing with. We have a militia pressuring. Mongreleyes can see the weak state of the warrior. He knows that this is the barbarian camp. He knows that Moose hasn't cleared it. No reason not to pressure in this situation. No general on the warrior. It does have ranger though, so this slinger's really not going to be able to do too much damage, although it is still already doing 2 damage with a % chance to crit. If Moose stays here, Mongrel could...
Should we switch it over to tight?
Yeah, good idea.
Our players are switching over to tight turnstile naturally. There is going to be some early aggression here. They may have forgot that step considering the distance, and that's okay. Sometimes that will happen. I think Moose is just noticing the militia in tow. He's really going to have to make a tough decision here. If he stays, this militia could lock him into the camp, forcing... Okay, we're going for an attack on the militia. 2 more turns on another slinger, 3 more turns on this other slinger. I think we have a rushed warrior. This is a unfortunate situation, but the correct play in this situation. A warrior coming up top. Moose has to get another city out. He needs his champion seat. It's unfortunate because his champion seat will be on the flatland by some hills with slingers that can pelt him from a distance. But honestly don't see any other option in this scenario. I feel like he has to rush this warrior. He has to get out here. He has to force this contest. And yes, for those of you joining us just now, we have the most insane map. We do have 13 city sites on the map. However, on this continent square dual map, there is a gap right in the center of the map, creating effectively a second continent, forcing our players to the top of the island where there's only 6 city sites, 3 on each side and 2 in the center. Mongreleyes did aggressive scouting, aggressive forward settling, and Moose unfortunately struggled to clear his first camp. He's going for the militia. He's opting to team up with the barbarian. He has his second warrior. I suspect Mongreleyes would not anticipate the rush-out warrior here. So I feel like things are looking okay for Bull Moose right now. That slinger should back off. The other 2 slingers won't be around fast enough to back it up, and he will take the hit from that barbarian. Be curious to see what Mongrel does here. Very intense action already. Both players, feet pressed to the fire. Good God, man, you are so bold. I love that he's going for an apprentice poet in this situation. Kudos to you, sir. And of course, the slinger backs off. This barbarian will make the camp respawn yet again. So if that was a calculated play from Mongreleyes, I must say I would be very impressed by that. I do believe when the turn passes over to Moose, the barbarians will move, and it should step into this spot and make the camp respawn again. Mongrel has only used his legitimacy purchasing power once so far, but he does have the ability to... Oh, wow, he can become Heckler as well. I'll be curious if he chooses that. He is already intelligent. So 30 science on Mongrel to 18 science on Bull Moose. Very, very tense situation. Scout being sent out to check out the situation. Remember, it is a schemer, so it will remain invisible out in the open. Navigation on Axum. And we went for Heckler. I believe that's the play, and the barbarian camp has respawned. Poor Bull Moose is just in a very, very tricky spot. He does have a second warrior in the region. He's going aggressive against the slinger. Let's see if he has the ability to forward march. He does not. He didn't have enough orders. He did have the training, but just not enough orders to make it. And we are going to have Highlander. So we have a Ranger and Besieger and Highlander. We do have some woods up in these hills, so he can protect himself and sort of threaten, with the slingers not really being able to do too much damage to Moose in his situation. I just don't know how Moose is going to get the ability to clear this camp. With the aggression from Mongreleyes, however, he doesn't even have a second settler yet, and this barbarian camp is going to respawn for him. So basically, we're in a situation where both players... forgive me, this is awesome. This is just the most amazing game. Both players are going to be stuck for a little bit on only 2 cities. However, Bull Moose went greed here. He went artisan settle into sages. Both are champions nations. However, Moose was bold. He did not opt to bring in that military family second. Incredible. We have... I love this. I don't know why, I just love this. I love how there's like aggression on the border here, and Mongreleyes is like, okay, I tried. We went at it a little bit. Never mind. I'm just going to build a worker. I feel like that is definitely the correct play. I would be... Oh, wow. Commander is awful. No, Moose. No, Moose. Okay, Moose is shielding himself behind the barbarian. That's the correct call because he doesn't want this wounded warrior to be in a situation where these slingers can come up and take him out. Very curious what the play here on Mongreleyes is going to be. Keep in mind here, one of the advantages he has is he can keep spending legitimacy for orders as he moves around the map and makes different decisions. I'd be curious if he comes back, just lets Moose do his thing, and decides to clear this barbarian camp. Also, for those just joining us, or in case you've forgotten on YouTube, the players did agree to enable double victory. I suspect we won't have that play a factor in this game. However, it does create an interesting strategy for this second continent down here. Insofar as if one player does seem to figure it out that there's a continent down here, and I mean this player will, technically this does open Mongreleyes. I just realized that. This settle opens Mongreleyes up for the potential to claim all of this territory and go for the double. Moose is in serious trouble by having that setting enabled. And I actually think that could create a game-winning scenario where Mongreleyes just needs to fortify this position and he can just spend the rest of his time expanding against tribes to lock Moose out of a victory condition. Now, that said, we have Moose already 13 turns away from developing culture. We know he's doing a culture rush strategy. He has inspiring on his scholar. His first build in this round, in this turn, oh wow, he's so close to clearing this camp. His first build on turn 1 was an Odeon. Classic culture rush Greece opener, especially with an Audience's City. So I suspect... Oh, and the Colosseum and Mausoleum are in the game. So step 1, you get to strong as quickly as possible. Step 2, you build this Mausoleum as quickly as possible. And then you just careen your way to the Colosseum and bring swords against your opponent. If Moose can get that Colosseum out within 50 turns or so, I think that could be a definitive win against Mongreleyes. But this is just incredibly intense. Finally building a settler in Adulis. And let's take a look here. Our first shrine. So I suspect... Oh, we have an acolyte, actually. We only have one acolyte so far. Oh, no, he went for a poet. My bad. That was a poet, not an acolyte. Mongrel is keeping eyes on Moose. He's debating whether he should harass some more. I feel like he should just let Moose do his thing here. There could be some serious naval battles, yes indeed. I think with that double victory condition turned on, and I know that BullMoose is aware of it because he called it out when he was setting up the game. As long as Moose becomes aware of the fact that there is a second continent, because you have to remember, let's take a look at the map here. If you look at the timeline, this is all Moose can see. He must deduce by seeing these mountain peaks on the map if he takes a look around. He could deduce that there's land down there. He does know that there's enough city sites on the map to create 42 victory points as the victory threshold. So as long as Moose becomes aware of the fact that there is a southern continent, he could decide that getting ships and crossing into this southern area to expand is integral to his winning strategy. And then, yes, that could indeed create a lot of naval conflict. However, navigation timing is on Mongreleyes. In 4 turns, he's going to have the ability to build ships, and he does have a champion seat in the game, which will be on the water. That's going to be a huge discrepancy here because we know Moose is going to have to pull the champion seat in this location. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has to put champions here. So we have a landlocked champion city against a coastal champion city in a potentially high naval game. And I feel like we already have an advantage there for Mongrel as well. He can start pumping ships out of this, and oh my goodness. Let's take a look specifically at each nation. This is one thing in future aspects of the game in the tournament. If you are going to be playing these games and you end up on the coast, try to consider moving your capital off of the coast. And the reason for that is if Mongrel builds a bunch of ships, he's going to be able to put 1, 2, 3, 4 ships in this bay and just assault Pella indefinitely with very little that Moose can do about it unless Moose gets slingers ASAP. We're opening with Divination into Aristocracy, a classic opener, a greedy opener. We don't have trapping yet, so it's in our hand right now. It will cycle into the deck, delaying Moose's ability to get trapping, but he is a scholar, so he could just cycle back into it quick enough. Let's hope he has the foresight to do that. I don't envy his position right now. Neither player could have planned for such a tense and tight combat. I'd like to see a little bit more scouting from Moose here. He does not yet know about this top city site, and Mongreleyes, 2 M names, Mongreleyes is about to discover this location. Crazy. We have another commander up here at the Commander Queen. Fierce with 2 courage. Pretty strong. All right. I'm going to try and calm my nerves and go back to a chiller speaking cadence now that that opening tension has died down and Moose was able to get his 3rd city out. He actually does have 1 more city than Axum now. The forward settle and the harass cost him the capability of settling his 3rd city for now. So Moose has secured a position and is a little bit safe now. Whew. Here we go. It's a game. It is a game. Welcome to the old world. Moose has an heir at 7 years old. Well, let's take a look if he has any courtiers to do double tutors. He should because... Oh, actually, no, he didn't settle patrons. Right, so no courtiers for the Moose. My goodness. My goodness. One moment for me. All right, Moose has... Nope, that's Mongrel. Sorry. Mongrel has discovered this site up here. He did bring in patrons, unlike Moose, so he could settle this 6 patron site with patrons, and that would be a huge gain. Moose would have to contest it, but Moose is currently unaware that it exists, and his scout is not on the northern side of the map. This congestion and locked-in situation is going to put a lot of pressure on Moose. We are building 2 warriors, which is good. Compared to economic development from Mongrel. Mongrel has 3 slingers already. This will put 1, 2, 3, 4 warriors on Moose's side to 3 slingers on Mongrel. I am a bit surprised to see a worker first in the champion seat. I might have expected a 3rd warrior. I do appreciate this off-type worker improvements coming around and making sure that all of his resource development gets online as quickly as possible. Good for Moose. All right. I think we're going to settle into a... Oh, very nice here. Although I don't see horses. I mean, I guess there are some horses right here. But we have Mongreleyes eyeballing spoked wheel. Why would we eyeball spoked wheel? Oh no, I apologize. That was in fact Bullmoose. All right, so Bullmoose has eyes on horses. He's probably thinking coming out here, grab a horse, get spoked wheel. I wonder if he could achieve this in about 8 turns, but chariots could be interesting, and it could be something that Mongrel wouldn't anticipate given the location of the horses. I like that play. I do think horses against Axum is risky because Axum is so close to Phalanx in the tech tree. They opted not to go to Phalanx. They're going for navigation, which I do think is the correct play because both the law and the fact that ships are going to probably win this game. Ooh, a harbor would be fun, speaking of ships. But he's going to be able to get extra science. Let's look at the power graph. The science graph naturally defaults to the schemer, higher base science, and as well as intelligent, but the scholar can pick wherever he goes in the tree. Orders, they're basically neck and neck, although the schemer does have an advantage there. And let's look at the military score. Greece has hopped up a bit on military score after the first conflict. Greece managed to kill a militia while suffering no losses on his end. And we have a new heir for the Axumites. Settler will be ready soon. Lots of harvesting on the part of Axum, making use of those orders. And just keeping a vigil on the Greek situation from his border. Oda Moose. And I'll be curious to see, yep, Moose goes right in for clearing. He knows he needs a central site. He knows about this forward settle. He hasn't investigated it much further with his scout now. He does know, because he can see these urban tiles, that Mongrel did not take this site yet. He might assume that Mongrel just kept walking forward to clear the center site. I have to say, I do appreciate this play of just migrating the workers. He wants his improvements built in the right spots. I appreciate him also going for the flatland quarry. Good job, Moose. Kudos to you, sir. All right. Over to Mongol. Mongol has navigation. I would not be surprised to see a Byram. 6-turn Byrams. This could bring the game to a close pretty much immediately. Just to appraise everybody of the situation one more time. Pella, and a duelist for that matter, by the way. Both cities are on a peninsula. Neither player opted to move their city center inland at all. Not even into this 3-tile bay. So, if Mongrel thinks of ships and starts building ships, he could put 4 ships in this bay and take Pella, basically make Pella a worthless city. Because even if he couldn't capture the city, he would basically effectively force it to repair indefinitely. Really want to keep an eye on this build queue to see if he goes for building ships, because that could be the game-defining decision. He does have plenty of income, plenty of money. We want to see a ship here. If we're Mongrel, we want to see a ship. Nope, we've opted for a slinger. Okay. Okay. That's great news for Bull Moose. If we're Bull Moose, we don't want to see any ships on the horizon. So, thankfully, Moose is going to have some breathing room here. And again, keep in mind, Moose was forced to put his champ seat inland. He does have access to navigation. Well, let's see if he does have it highlighted. He knows a navy will be important. Honestly, if Moose can expand north by building a farm here, honestly, actually getting navigation, colonies could be essential here as well. Just buying a couple of tiles to the coast and then swapping to serfdom later could be essential to get him a naval access to his champ seat, allowing him to build swift boats. Another settler in the capital. He's confident he's going to be able to take this city site up top. Mongrel has no vision up there. So I believe that's the correct play. Of course, with a schemer, you never know where the scouts are going to be. And we do have navigation for Bull Moose. I think that's absolutely the correct play. Both of our players know that ships will become essential in this match. Now, we do have Mongrel building a settler. He might have ambitions on this center site, but he's going to struggle to take that from Greece. I'm pretty sure that will just fall to Greece. So what Mongrel will have to do is start to cross into this wilderness, which is currently unexplored. Mongrel has no idea what's down here or where the camps are. But he does have the exclusive expansion rights to this continent currently. And honestly, Mongrel has a few paths to victory here. He could build a navy and just bombard Pella to death. Or he could just go on a tribal clearing spree and double it out. We have iron working for the Axamites. I appreciate that pick because it's very easy and tempting. Nice. And another patron's spot here. Good for him. It is very easy and tempting to ignore iron working for the Axamites, since their unique unit can make up the melee deficiency, but I don't think that's the correct play. I think you want to have access to a cheap and quick melee unit if you need it, and also a unit that can upgrade to axes or spears. We have cunning or strict in the capital, and a little bit of extra XP for the schemer ruler. Let's see. We have warlike on Bull Moose's scholar. That's a pretty decent grab, especially for Greece, since they're naturally going to level up their culture levels pretty easily. So warlike in this capital is already giving him a whopping 14 training compared to 14 training in the champ seat. So Bull Moose effectively has 2 champion seats working for him now that he has warlike in that capital. And once he levels up to strong in just 4 turns, that warlike advantage is going to increase even more. Ten seconds for Mongrel. All right. Some damage. Lots of intense damage up here for Moose. Oh, and did some clearing. Let me just check a setting real quick. Okay, great. Coming on up with another warrior. Going to ensure that he has access to this site, which is really good because you don't want a 6 precious resource site going to the Patrons family. That's for damn sure. And Moose will be aware that Patrons is in the game. Tactic student for Moose. And the heir for the Axumites is still too young for any education. All right. Moose moving up. Bold. I love this. I love this 1 HP warrior. That is just awesome. He has no idea if this unit is on one of these tiles just waiting to aggro him, and he just doesn't care. He needs to get kills. He needs to get clearing. Good for him. 4 turns left on a settle. So we could see 4 cities to 4 cities, which is great news for Moose. The only flaw here is that, again, this champion city has free reign and free access to go to this entire southern continent. This is a dual map. It is a square ratio map, continent map. But the way the generation worked out, there is a slice in the center. So effectively, there are 2 continents on this map. And our players are stuck in top, battling it out. We do have our literature assigned to the cap, which makes sense. Another a garrison on the way. We already have a barracks. So military drill has already been acquired. Trapping into military drill. Makes sense. Labor force, navigation. So here we have the techs for the Axumites. And for Greece, we're working on navigation. We went to husbandry. And we went divination into aristocracy. A little bit more economic, a little bit greedier. And of course, Moose did go for the greedy settle by going artisans into sages, and just barely managed to settle his champion seat with this aggression from Mongrel. Mongrel does have eyes on this site up here now. There is some movement in this direction. There are 2 commanders on these slingers, so he could look to contest. Be curious to see what Moose does. Moose does not have good vision. Of course, you would expect a schemer to have a little bit better vision than their opponent, since it's just that much easier to move the scout around the map. All right. 7 turns to navigation for Moose. I would be curious if he goes straight for ships. I would like to see a little bit more movement on the scout. He's being very developmental focused. He's really spending much of his orders on worker turns. But he is making progress towards his camp. Still, some vision could be key. He does have pretty solid vision of the champ seat, and I guess he does have good vision of this location, but maybe learning what's happening back here in the capital would be helpful. He would have seen that slinger moving north. All right, Mongrel with eyes on Moose once more. Three turns on that settler. 3 turns on aristocracy. 4 Axumite. So there will be catching up to that compared to Greece. And Greece is just 1 turn now. From strong culture, he'll have strong culture in the capital on turn 26. That's pretty solid momentum. That's the type of speed that you'll see from an artisan's seat. especially in Greece, who can open by building an Odeon and going directly into the theater, which of course is what Moose did. For those watching on YouTube, forgive me for explaining this once more. We have some people ending in the chat. But yeah, for our live streamers today, this is a regular continent map. It's not continents plural. It's a regular continent map, dual square. However, the generation gave us a slice in the center of the map, creating effectively two continents, and both players got stuck up in the top half. There's already been some aggression here because Axum, with the schemer leader, came barreling forward. Their schemer leader has steadfast, and they just came straight forward, clearing. And BullMoose ran into some trouble with his starting warrior clearing the tribal camp. He forgot to add a key promotion here, and essentially that allowed the Axumites to contest this settling, and almost locked BullMoose out of getting a third city at all. Thankfully, Moose was able to bounce back. He rushed a warrior from the capital using civics. That's a strong advantage to having Greece. He had that tool at his disposal by opening artisans, by opening with an Odeon. He did have the ability to rush a warrior right away, so getting that second warrior into the game was crucial for Moose and a good play on his part. So now we're caught up, and it does look like Moose is going to be able to take this site without contest, giving both players 4 cities in the top continent. I really want to see Mongrel figure out the win condition here. If he just decides to build ships, there is nothing yet that will be able to stop Pella from being destroyed by 4 ships. The Greeks are 6 turns away from being able to get their own ships, and their champion seat is not on the water. Although, again, let's not forget, he effectively has the training of a second champion seat in the capital. So this is what I would like to see. I think this game could get decided by the first player who starts spamming ships. So we definitely want to keep an eye out for that. If BullMoose gets navigation and we see him start spamming ships, putting a build queue in the capital right away, I think that will be a very, very good sign for the game sense of Moose. Because Moose will know that Mongrel has the same type of capital. Of course, without scouting, he doesn't know that Mongrel also chose not to step inland, which is another reason why I'd like to see this scout take a few steps forward. But ships could definitely decide this match. They could be a definitive play. All right, we have 2 laws on the Greeks. 2 laws accessible. None are adopted. He could be waiting for serfdom. Freedom, interestingly enough, for the Axumites. Not a lot of expansion here, although, again, he could be thinking about hopping across this bay by securing the central site. Axum has exclusive access to the southern continent, so he could be thinking about just playing an expansive tribal game. Yes, we have a warlike governor in Pella. Warlike governor, and we've just reached strong, so now we're at 17 training in the capital, outproducing the training of the champion seat at 16.5. So effectively, BullMoose has access to 2 champion seats worth of production in this current game, and this location up here also has an iron, so if he puts champions up here as well, he'll have 3 very powerful build queues, militarily speaking. I would like to see, if BullMoose is thinking ships, I would actually like to see a navigation adoption. He did go for a law, though. We went slavery. I think that's the better call here. Navigation could be clutch. Sorry, colonies could be clutch to buy a couple tiles to give this build queue access to boats. Let's look at the power score for now. Slight advantage here for Greece. We have a warrior coming out here, still not a ship. We have our first note. What's up with this barb? Just hanging out? He might not be aware of the fact that this barb probably is going to be taking one shot, but only doing one damage. So he might not notice. Or maybe it's not attacking. Interesting. Well, we'll have to pay attention to that. We got the Book of Secrets on our schemer leader over here. And BullMoose now has Blessed. So strong benefits happening to both leaders at the moment. How many turns on that settler? 2 turns to the settler. And, oh, right, because we didn't, this was the patrons, so we brought in traders, so we have 3 crab trader seat, lots of growth up here. That'll be handy. Lots of food, lots of growth. Quick and easy access to militias. Can do a conscript upgrade. Build lots of workers. That's solid. Great. Good for Mongrel. Otherwise, there aren't any really good trader site except for way the hell down here. Oh my god, this map is insane. I mean, I guess this would also be another good trader spot, to be fair. But we missed out on that opportunity. Alright, I'm hearing that we might have a little bit of a bug with some bar behavior these days. That's alright, not the end of the world. It only would be doing 1 damage to this militia anyway, so nothing game breaking. Also, welcome to the stream, Mr. Kitten. And the other 10 of you. I appreciate you all being here. Exciting match we have going on already. Already going to be developed in the champion seat. That's good news for Axum. One more turn on the settler, and Moose is just plowing straight ahead to take out this last barb. Let's see if Mongrel has any interest in coming in and taking this out. Honestly, he just may. These slingers are doing a decent amount of damage here. Could be an option. Might not be worth it. We have 2 turns left on our amphitheater. 56 years on legendary. So if Moose can get the economy, he could get the mausoleum out. He doesn't have a builder. What's his child? His child is the tactics heir. We'll be hitting 18 soon, so we'll see what the option is there. Still no... Wait, hold on. Yeah, still no courtiers in court, so this is just being tutored by the scholar, but we know Moose loves his tutoring, so I'm not surprised by that. Yes, this is just a neighborhood-friendly barbarian chilling, hanging out. He's seen enough of war. All right, we have some harass happening here. Mongrel notices that our warrior has sat on this garrison, and he's not going to allow that garrison to be completed without some harass. This is a very interesting bait. I don't know that it's fully a bait, but it's a very interesting play here from Moose, because with one turn on the warrior, even though Mongrel can only see one unit, effectively there are 2 units here. That's pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'd be curious if that was on purpose. Also, I'd just like to appreciate an audio check from those in chat. I always want to make sure that I'm coming across sounding okay. All right, let's see if Moose decides to move in here with his second warrior. This warrior does have Ranger. And there is a sizable warrior presence here. So I think Mongrel would have to back off at the sight of this. This could do 8 damage, 6. Not quite enough to kill, but close. And I don't think Mongrel is going to want to tango here. A stonecutter in the champion seat. Not sure I like that, but the Acolyte I understand, because I definitely think he's Russian culture here. The Colosseum is in the game for those just joining us. Again, classic artisan opener strategy. He even put inspiring on his scholar. So we're definitely thinking that Moose checked the Wonder List, saw the Colosseum, and said, great, cool, awesome. Artisans, Colosseum rush. I'm going to kill him in 60 turns. One thing we'd probably want to see here, we don't have a luxury yet. An estate in the capital could always be useful, but on this type of arena, it sure would be a risk, so I don't blame him for not going for it. All right, of course, we do have some backing off. He is going to keep presence on this river. We have a nice strong river here, and he, for now, must suspect that Greece does not have any access to range units, so he can protect himself quite handily from behind this river. Going for an Acolyte in the capital as well. Let's check on Acolyte status. This is going to be the first in Axum. Another barracks in the champion seat. And we're working on our first in... Oh, no. We're working on our second in Greece. So Zoroastrianism will go to Greece. Unsurprising with Artisan's combo, but you never know. Border boost on the Axumites. That'll come in handy. It'll be interesting to see what gets grabbed down here. I do find it interesting that Mongrel seems to have no curiosity, at the very least, even scouting down in this direction. We have no second scout. We haven't taken the scout off the Greek front, which doesn't really surprise me. You want to keep eyes on Moose in this type of arena, but no scouting at all. He can see 2 iron. You could clear a couple of sites down here and get more production. Worker. Lots of economic development. Mostly building up from the champion seat here. Gonna keep tabs on that military score. Let's take a look at overall unit production so far. 4 from each player. Likely a 5th on the way from Axum. And no current units on the way from Greece, although he will be up to his 4th city soon. I could see 2 options here. I could see going for a second Artisans city. You would get 20% on that iron, but you'd also get 20% on all this precious, which could mean more income, or at least the mines, not the pearls. but I would not be surprised if we see a second champions. Let's look at the opinion. Opinion for Axum is strong. And opinion for Greece is faltering. One turn on navigation. We still have 4 turns on the Acolyte, so I suspect he won't be building a ship right. And here it is. Oh boy. Here it is, the first ship. Now, with timing, I do want to look at this. Oh no, 4 turns, because the barracks was just finished. This could be decisive. This could be decisive. This is it. Now, let's keep in mind, he had navigation 20 on turn 20, so 10 turns ago. He could have already had ships in the water, but thankfully for Mongrel, and unfortunately for Moose, Mongrel has decided to build his first ship. This could be the victory condition right here. Steel on Mongrel, so we're definitely going aggressive teching. Military drill, trapping, steel. Navigation was 10 turns ago. Compared to Greece, who opened divination into aristocracy, got husbandry. Now just working on labor force, no trapping, no military drill, no steel, so no access to ranged units, and not close to a strength 5 unit. We do have, my apologies, we do have the border boost. Oh my god. The border boost extended us all the way out here. And the Axumites are moving up with their slingers. Crazy. Crazy. Great border boost there. That's a lot of awesome. That's just so awesome. A little bit of aggressive border boosting. Of course, you can't specifically plan for that, though he would have seen when he chose the border boost card that that's where the boost would have went. So that's awesome. That's just really, really cool. Wow. All right, let's hop over to Moose. I want to see his reaction here with the navigation. I also want to see a force march. He only has 8 turns. Let's take a look at the orders situation. 12 on the Axumites, but the Axum is a schemer, so they can use their purchase ability versus 9 on BullMoose. Some border boost options here as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets chosen. And that would have done the same type of thing. So this is the type of thing that, yeah. All right, we have our second champion seat. Now, I really want to see a ship in the water. It's very important to get a ship in the water. Let's see. We have Phalanx. Not ideal. Not ideal because we have Phalanx teching in 6 turns compared to Steel in 7 turns. And oh no. Moose is going for a worker in this city. Let's see what he opts to do in the Sage's seat. We're hoping for a ship somewhere. We could get an 8-turn Byreme, which would be delayed, but would get us into the water. We have a Byreme here. Also 8 turns, thanks to Warlike. So I would love to see a second Byreme. I feel like we should be building ships. But this is still good. This is still good because Moose gets navigation, and the same turn he gets navigation, we see a ship being built in a build queue. So that's good prioritization there, but I really would have liked to see 2. And frankly, I probably wouldn't even have started this, and I would have prepped another boat because we would have, oh, look at this. We would have had 4 turns. The boats would have been out at the same time. The boats would have been out at the same time. Moose needs those ships. Wow. This is incredibly intense. All right. Have some precious development in the patron sheet. Makes sense. We have 75% culture boost in this location. Workers almost finished up in the trader site. And we have the Axumites taking a peek here. It looks like they were able to kill the militia. Yep. Greece was short on orders, had to force march to settle, so that must have come with sacrificing the militia. I don't see any other moves on Moose's side, so that might have consumed all of his orders. We do have a heal here, so yeah, that must have been most of his orders. A garrison up in the champion seat for Axum. And we have a tactics student on Axum. Also, let's go over to Greece. We have a tactician on Greece. That is solid. He's going to want that, and he's going to want that in the water. He's definitely going to want that to become an admiral. Well, it's a general, but I'm going to call it an admiral because that's more fun. Oh my god, King Myrod can become engineer. He needs to take this. I want to see if he understands the arena that he's in. Of course, he doesn't have the bird's eye view that we do. This is all that BullMoose can see. He does know that he's stuck on a peninsula with only 4 cities. He doesn't yet fully understand the situation with the southern continent. Yes, we have an earthquake as well. Also, as a reminder, since we have quite a few more viewers, it does seem that the players have agreed to enable double victory in this match. Double victory is on for the first time in the tournament, which also means that Mongrel can win by fortifying and defending this location and just opting to expand tribally and gobble up all of the southern continent, which is another reason why I find myself fascinated by the fact that he's done no exploration down into the southern continent. Both players should be aware that double victory is on. I did hear them discuss it in the call before this match. So, yeah. I do find myself a little bit surprised that there's not a little bit more scouting and maybe some expansion down here from Mongrel in the position that he's in. I want to check back. We did not opt to take engineering. Bit of a bummer there. I would have loved to have seen that, but not the end of the world. Definitely didn't want to eat that 120 discontent. Our tactics prince can become exploring, delver, or cunning. And you're going to want to demand their loyalty for this event. Axum being a pal and clearing that last barbarian. Here we are. 5 turns on steel. He's going to beat BullMoose to steel, while BullMoose is trying to get spears. Bit unfortunate. Let's look at overall wealth. 2,200 for Axum to 1,900 for BullMoose. So BullMoose is keeping up in overall wealth. 3 specialists for Moose. 4 workers for each of them. I believe 5 units for Axum because... Oh, and actually no. Moose didn't lose one. So 5 units for both units, for both players. 2 laws for the Axumites. And Axum has discovered 8 technology to Moose's 6. All right, we're back to Greece. I am holding my breath for what will happen when Moose gets spears. Because if this whole line upgrades to spears, Mongrel is going to be so happy that the exact turn after that happens, he will have access to axes. Now, what he should be doing, well, I mean, I want to see the ship, but he only does have one warrior, so this would probably do well to back up so he can afford to upgrade it into an axe. Let's take a legendary check. 41 turns on legendary in the capital. So we're looking at a turn 74 legendary city if it goes that long, but that will keep going down because he's building another source of culture here. He's opting, oh my goodness, he's opting for, I understand why, but he's opting for an elder specialist in the cap. Thankfully, he does have a ship coming, but with this amount of training, I want to see more ships on Moose's side of the map. Not to sound like a broken record, but here we are. We get the elder specialist in the trader seat. Makes sense. So both players are relatively content to be greedy here. There is some military buildup. This ship will define things a great deal. Really strong opinions for the Axumites. All right. 7 orders, but not really a lot to do with them. He's only purchased orders as a schemer twice, so that's nice. Hasn't needed the extra orders. I'll be really curious to watch what happens with this ship. If he decides to start building up, or if he just goes straight to check on Pella to see if he has the ability to harass. The issue for Axum, however, is if he comes up here with a ship and starts attacking right away, when this ship spawns, Moose could force march it. I don't know if it could make it the whole way on its own, but Moose could bring it down. And if whoever gets the first ship hit at sea will win that naval battle when it's a one-on-one fight. So it could still be very risky to move this firing up. He might want to start just building a navy and wait till he has several ships, which then, of course, will give Moose the opportunity to fortify this position. We get a mercenary chariot. Love to see that. Again, we have no spears in sight for Axum. They are on phalanx in their hand, but they're opting for steel, which does make sense. That is the correct play here, but that is going to put phalanx back in the deck, which means the window for a chariot to be effective will be around for a little bit longer. All right. We have our first ship of the game. It has amphibious. Good God. So those for unfamiliar, amphibious will give you plus 50% attack into the land, which will apply to attacking a city center. I would like to see this promoted right away. We have the training. And maybe even a general and another ship. We have the training. I'd like to see that amphibious right away. Of course, if you haven't been in very many naval battles, these might not be things that you're thinking about. If you ever want to play a multiplayer game that's a really intense naval fight, feel free to use the Punic dual map in the scenario folder. It's an incredibly fun Rome versus Carthage themed scenario. And there's lots of naval combat. It's game defining in that map. Order discrepancy is climbing for Axum. Science, on the other hand, is moving up for the Moose. Let's look at overall economies. I think slavery is going to give, slavery is giving Greece the better economy. Plus, he's just built a bunch of quarries already. All right, with that in mind, I'm just going to take 30 seconds to myself real quick. I'll leave the camera here. I'll just be back in 1 second. All right, we're back. Everybody's still here. No one's dead yet. Still Moose's turn. 5 turns on the Byreme, 5 turns on the Elder Poet. Definitely strong, insane, crazy culture rush. And we have the tactician on the throne. He could sell some resources here to get a courtier. And he can make himself... We went besieger. All right. I dig that. If he puts himself on a ship, he could give himself a similar attack bonus into coastal territories that are on urban. So that's neat enough. I would be curious. His tactician ruler is right here. He could make a play off of this, potentially. Yes, we have a comment in chat saying this is why people go military families first. Just to comment on that. Moose did go very greedy here. He settled artisans into sages and almost lost his opportunity to settle his military seat at all because he got harassed by the Axumites. He almost failed to clear this camp. Excuse me. So yeah, it could have been a very, very short game, but kudos to Moose. He did have the ability, thankfully, to his artisan seat to rush out a warrior. Not the most efficient, but it definitely helped him out immensely. Very strong play and response to the situation from Moose. Never ideal to get off to a rocky start. Oh, yes, we did have access to carpenters there just now as well. No promotion on the Byreme yet, and we are not spamming ships. Siontific is a sad panda today because I would love to just see the Axumites take their advantage here, build just a bunch of ships, and let's not forget, surround Pella. 4 ship attacks onto Pella. You'd not. It's already doing 3 damage. You could do 12 damage a turn without any promotions. There's no response to that, except for more ships. So, yeah, this is. I think Bullmoose is very lucky here that he doesn't have an opponent whose immediate idea would be to toss ships into the water. Of course, he's playing a fantastic game in the situation that he's dealt with. I would be liking to see more ships on his side as well. We have a very cool forest fire. Pan across that. Very cool. I do appreciate the centralized position of this chariot, just in case he needs to go north or central. I think this city will be difficult to develop with a lingering slinger presence right outside of the border. And that's the risk that you run as Greece here, even coming up to be aggressive here. Greece will have no idea if Axum is sitting with a couple of warriors or slingers back here, so he would have to plan around that. He could scout. Mongrel has went for amphibious, so let's look at that now. Oh, I guess it's amphibious that would do 3 damage. That doesn't seem right. So maybe a regular Byram just did 2 damage. But even still, 2 damage from 1 hit would be a big deal. All right, finally, we have some scouting from the Axumites down into the southern continent. Meeting the Gauls for the first time, I suspect. Harvesting some culture. He's going to put himself in a little bit of danger here. Oh, wait, no, he's still a schemer, so he's fine. It's the Greeks who lost their starting ruler. In fact, let's take a look at that then, now that the science is down. All right, so not too bad of a dip for the Bullmoose. Not bad. All right. And we have some pressure from Axum. I'm curious if he's going to go for the force march and just attack the city directly. We do have 5 orders. Yes, we're force marching. And we have our first assault on a capital here. A naval conflict. Wow, wild. What a wild game. And Moose is going to want this Elder to finish, but now he's in a situation where he can't just allow damage to pile up on his city. I suppose he could, because there's no way that a unit will get here in time. But I suppose as what you'd want here in this situation as Axum is you would want to have placed your ship out here, because 3 units can come in and attack this ship. And if he waits, if he just allows a little bit of harass, or if he rushes this unit, which he can, he could lock this ship. He could lock this ship into the bay. This is one reason why you probably would have wanted a few more ships coming in as Axum. I like this play. I think this is the right play, but you need more ships to pull it off. All right, we have a mass upgrade to spears from the Bullmoose. Massive, massive. Every single warrior on the map is now a spear. So once again, Mongrel will be so grateful that he just unlocked steel. Pretty sure this turn or last turn. Nope, just this turn. We've just unlocked steel. So looking at all of this, this is what Mongrel sees on the turn that he has unlocked the steel technology. I would not be surprised if we see this turn into an axe immediately. And we have another warrior here to become an axe as well. Crazy back and forth timing in this situation in terms of what's happening on each side of the board. Now that we've met the Gauls, unfortunately the Axumites have opened themselves up to these raids. I suspect this camp will also raid. Yep, both of these camps are going to raid the Axumites, so that's going to be some pressure from the south. One more turn for the tactician heir on the Axumite side to grow up and choose their education. We do have Delver. Not the best stats, so let's do a little bit of comparison since this guy wasn't tutored. Well, I'll wait till he levels up. We're going straight for composite bow as the Axumites. That does make sense because you're going to want that. You're going to want to upgrade these archers, these slingers into archers as quickly as you can. And you're also going to want that free ballista. Because while we do have axes, we're going to have to deal with this infantry. All right, let's hop over to Moose. We have another attack on the capital. Moose is committed to getting this elder out as quickly as possible. Another thing that this will do, though, Moose is attempting a culture rush. The damage on this city is going to reduce his culture by a percentage point. So currently the damage on this city is reducing his culture by 10%. And that's just not what you want when you're trying to rush culture as quickly as possible. We're now 50 turns away from legendary. So Axum is succeeding in slowing Greece down there with their culture rush. We do have the chariot moving up, generals being assigned, promotions being assigned. And let's take a look at that military score now. Those upgrades cause Bullmoose to shoot just above Mongrel. The aggression is very likely coming. This tactician will swing the momentum in Moose's favor. Even though we unlocked steel last turn as Mongrel, we have yet to upgrade these axes. We want to see these axes get upgraded. Even though we have no resources, we need to make a sale here and make this happen. Otherwise, these spears could come in and do serious damage to these units and we'll be out of axes. Or axe potential for now, anyway. Moose can see that Adulis is on the ocean as well. So if he wasn't thinking of it before, he's certainly thinking of naval harassment now. We have one axe. We'll see if he goes for the other axe. He would need to make more sales to make that happen. He'll have an ambition once he completes 3 mines. What's the other ambition? He did 6 technologies. I haven't checked Greece's ambitions, So we'll take a peek at that as we pop on over. Interesting that we're running council up here. I guess he wants the training to be able to assign units and stuff. Moose has 6 technologies, which is now a legacy, and he has established mythology. And he did found Zoroastrianism, so that is on the table. He's just short on civics for now. We're getting the free hoplite coming up. 3 turns. I suspect in combination with the Byreme and the hoplite, we could see a push here. This ship is going to get weakened more and more the more it stays here. And then I fully suspect that Moose will come right around here, block him in, and go for the kill. We still don't have another ship coming in the champion seat. My brain glitched. I saw spears moving, so I was talking about production in here. I'm like, we don't have another spears. Okay. All right. So aggressive posturing from the Bull Moose. Let's take one more look at the power graph. They're neck and neck in power, exactly 300 to 300 on turn 39. Same power level. This does factor in the ship at sea still, but there is a tactician, a very well promoted tactician at that, with now 30%, an extra 30% combat strength. More promotions. Crazy. And we have a zealot heir for the Axumites. So enlisting will be a possibility in the future. Or certainly rushing with training once we get a state religion. We did not bring in clerics in this match. All right. Let's see how Mongrel reacts to this posturing from Bull Moose. Bringing the slinger down from the south. An interesting possibility for Moose is he could go on a flanking mission and maybe harass the central territories with this chariot. He does have some vision up here. So that could be an interesting way to take advantage of the horse. But of course, there are no spears on Axum yet, so hanging it around for a possible route chain would be the way to go. All right. 9 orders left for the Axumites. Some scouting that can be done. Some worker improvement. Would probably want to heal this worker. And I think I would like to be backing off these units here. Definitely upgrading this into an axe. I know it's fortified with that counter, but you're really going to want to save your axe potential here because, look, that counter would only do about 5 damage to a spear compared to 9 damage you can do with an axe. So things are looking spicy. All right, we have our first engagement. Moose is going in. We have a stun right on the leader. We have a devastating attack. Oh my goodness. Brutal. Not all of these units are trapped. This was stunned, and this is locked in place due to zone of control, but the slingers can get out. No kills yet. This is why we would like to see somebody backing up. It's always better to just position yourself behind your city and work around the incoming threat. Back to Mongrel. Let's see how he manages this response. He will be losing 2 units here. We want to see military being built. Moose does have his ship ready. There's still a slinger nearby. But this unit is very well promoted. I really appreciate the few turns of promotion before coming in. All right, we're backing up with the slinger. We'll see if he has the ability to take this out. That would be an extra 9 damage there, bringing it down to all right, he's going for the locking of... He's going to try and lock it in. Yep, things are looking pretty good here. We do have a chariot on the table. Oh, man, with a potential devastating route possibility coming up. This could be the game-winning conflict right here. This could be it. Steel was just in time, but there were not enough warriors to upgrade. We're going to be going over to back to Bullmoose now. "20 more seconds on Mongrel." Got a little bit ahead of myself, but things are intense. No orders left on Mongrel, so he's just sorting out events and build queues. Building an axeman, that's desperately what he needs. Slinger in the back, that makes sense. And here we are, we're on. All right. And we have a route coming in. We have a second route. And 3 units down. My bad. I have music. I just realized now I have sound off this entire time. But here we go. We got music and everything. All right, that could be the decisive blow. Mongrel is now weaker. We have a stunned axe. He is going to lose his tactician ruler next turn. Nothing can be done about that. And we have the hoplite coming up. No movement on the boat, but I don't think we really need to deal with this situation. Very strong position for Bull Moose now, looking very good. I don't think Mongrel will get the ability to build that axe. He's opting for citizenship instead of polis. I might even consider the orders boost in this situation. Having a turn where you effectively have double orders while you're in the middle of a battle would make a lot of sense. The final stun on the axe, so he will lose his leader here. But of course, that axe is doomed. And somebody has died. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tournament first, we have a ruler, or heir in this case, dying in combat. The routing chariot came in and killed Axum's zealot son. And since we're making military moves first, it does make sense. Oh, he would be aware here. I guess he would notice here. Oh, that's just devastating. We're rushing out the axe. That is the play here. Nothing can be done about it. Three deaths last turn. Brutal. Brutal. The ship is returning. It is amphibious, so it can do a whopping 9 damage to any units on the coast, but it had to stop its mission against Pella. It wasn't really achieving anything for the Axumites, so they've retreated back, and they're going to try and relieve the situation, because if any unit steps on this tile, it's just going to take 9 damage from a ship. So that's a smart play there, coming back with naval support. I think between the ship and the axe, it could be possible to defend here, but it's not looking good. The tactician will very likely end up on the hoplite next turn. I love this. This is so funny. I just love this. Sure, go get these pearls right next to your opponent's border. Yep, why not? Great. Awesome. That's so fun. Alright, 8 turns left. No heir now. He does have a bastard that he could legitimize. He might not notice it. 8 orders left on the clock, running out of time. Not much else left to do, though. And back over to Bull Moose. We'll see if we get the tactician on this unit. And yes, we do. Alright. Down goes the axe. He's opting to save the horse and the other spear. I think that's wise. And I think this is maybe an attempt to lock this in, but I don't think he might realize that we can get out through the coast here. Maybe an attack will be coming. Nope. That was an attempt of zone of control. But of course, since we have access to the coast here, this slinger can escape if it has to. Between the ship and the two slingers, it is possible he's going for that, but now I think... Oh no, the axe will come in. Yeah. If he moves that axe in, this tactician will just stun it again, though. Okay. And we're going for the kill with the slinger. This tactician can still reach an axe, so you want to be careful of it. He can't see it. You have to play around that tactician ruler.
The amphibious boat is pretty cool.
Also, if anyone in chat could let me
Thank you,
hear
that was a lucky promotion.
if you can
I was
hear
originally just going to harass you, but it's just coming in handy.
this conversation, let me know. Because I do have Moose and Mongreleyes in chat with me. They can't hear what I'm saying, but I can hear them. I'm curious if chat can hear them. Okay, great. I just wanted to double check in the event that the game ends and we want to do our post-game chat. So I want to make sure that everybody can hear them. Yeah, the three of us are on a video call, but they haven't been chatting much back and forth with each other. That was our first interaction all game. So I just wanted to confirm that our good viewers can hear any taunting back and forth. I'm surprised it took so long, to be honest, considering how tense this match has been. All right, great. So we have a kill. Let's see if Moose realizes or remembers that you cannot stun something at sea from land. This could be a blunder that we're about to see. Moose could come in here thinking he could stun the ship. I mean, with only 2 damage, you probably don't want to do that. But it'd be interesting to see if he makes that mistake. I'm pretty sure this axe is just dead. It's definitely going to get stunned. I would think. I don't see... I mean, the play here is delay until we can get a free ballista, I suppose. But, you really need a lot of time if you're going to do that. I'd like to see more axes being built here. He is up against the clock. The timer could be making him nervous. You know, in addition to the spears in the middle of his empire. All right, back to Moose. I think he would have enough to kill this. It would take a little bit. Let's check the promotions on this ship. Coxswain, Strike. Those could be useful. And BullMoose did switch to order boost at some point. I like that change. And we have an axe in Sabat as well. Like that change as well. I think this is the correct play for Moose. Next turn, he'll just have a lot of strong options. He has plenty of training. He can do some interesting force march moves. I love that a worker's building a back. Oh no! All right, we have a stun here, but we also have a raid down here. Stunned Axeman. Moose is being pretty conservative with his units, but taking an advantage of the fact that he can stun. All right, back to Mongol. And we do have a raid coming, 2 different raids coming at the exact same time. Oh, man, this is devastating. This is awful for Mongrel. Turns out the exploration down south ended up coming back to haunt him because discovering the Gauls have caused them to target him for raids. We will be getting a kill here, if we want it. Can't rush the other axe yet. 5 turns to composite bow. And we take that kill. Not sure how he's going to handle these raids on top of the current situation. Looking pretty bleak. Oh, this is clever. Okay, coming back with a ship. I like that a lot. All right, he'll definitely be able to kill one of these Baron units. I think this would have been the spot to place it, but yeah. I guess this prevents landfall as well. All right, good move on that part. His heir is now an adopted diplomat. He did choose to adopt. The schemer can do that. He might not realize that he has a son he can legitimize. Looking pretty bleak. Pretty bleak for Mongrel. Not building military units in multiple cities. All right. Looking good for Moose. I love this. That we're full-scale invasion here, and we have a worker, we have a miner, and on Moose's side, he's building a fisher, he's building a disciple, he's building a master poet. I just... okay. Oh, man. That's funny. All right, coming in with that chariot. Stunning. Oh, this is brutal. Brutal. I think... Yep, the militia... Oh, no, the militia can't move again. Can we come up with a spear? Yes, we can come up with this spear. Nope. We're going to stay put. Put a general on it. Probably... Oh, we've upgraded to a militia. There we go. Don't need our extra workers. Yeah, let's just... All right, now we're talking. We need fishers, we need disciples, but we don't need workers. Moose is tasting the blood in the water and going for the kill. Let's see the vision that he has in this situation. Not much, but enough. At just 2 hours' time, we could be nearing the close. We're bringing in workers here. I love it. The combat worker, the military worker. This will be able to absorb hits if we need to. Body block if we need to. Coming in with the scout, taking a big peek here. Oh yeah. I probably would have wanted to do this before I upgraded all those workers, but Moose can be very confident that this is all that Mongrel has in the tank at the moment. Only one more slinger on the way. Brutal. We'll see if Mongrel hangs out for that ballista. But with these raids, which Moose can't see yet, hilariously enough, Moose doesn't know that he has reinforcements coming down along the way. Alright, back to Mongrel. We're going on the offensive, trying to kill that hoplite. It might be best to pull this slinger back and try to save the unit so you can upgrade to an archer in 4 turns. I think that would be the safer play. Abandoning this city in general probably would have been the safer play. You want to get in the habit of retreating when you're at a disadvantage. We have an axeman coming out in Hawulti? Yeah, because we had 2 slingers. I think we had at least 1 or 2 more. In 4 turns, we could have had 4 archers, and that would have been in a completely different situation if we just maybe held back and retreated. And maybe if Greece took this city, this raid would be targeting Greece right now. Okay. We'll be passing over to Moose any minute now. See how he decides to go in for this kill. 7 turns on an axeman here, no ability to rush. Alright. Headed on over to Bullmoose. We have a sandstorm, but it doesn't impact anything. There goes a slinger. He now has eyes on one of the raiders, and the tactician leader heads back to heal up. Continuing the attack. Only 10 HP left on that city. Full and complete vision of the majority of the Axumite Empire. Moose can see that from the last turn, virtually no units started making their way to the front line to reinforce. So he knows that he's safe. And for the Axumites, Sabat is burning. little bit of trailer action for you fine folks. One turn left on this slinger, 3 turns before it can become an archer. 2 turns on an axe. Yes, indeed, it's looking bleak. We have another dead general. Needless bloodshed. Recent losses are the talk of the capital, indeed. I believe the Axumite days are numbered. Making another spear in the champion seat for Greece. Doing some chopping, probably in preparation for an archer upgrade, if there's still time. Probably would want to see a slinger being built here. Yep, there we go. About time. And back to the moose. Moose. This is awesome. And Moose will know that these are raiding the Axumites, so Moose is aware that these are his reinforcements. I honestly, in this situation, I think what I would do is just start marching my units this way, and I would let the raid attack this city. I don't need this city. I would just move forward. Why not, right? You know nothing is coming. Assert your advantage. Show Axum that you're not going to give him an opportunity to build more units in his other cities. And leave this to the raiders. And Moose is aware that nothing is being repaired here. So of course he must assume that Mongrel is waiting on something. Let's see if he'll be able to take this city next turn. I think... yeah, he will be. Yeah. Sabat falls next turn in Greece. Yep, and this chariot will be able to... this slinger will get hunted down. The boat can offer no... wow. Look at that. The boat would actually be able to kill the militia, but the boat can offer no real assistance here. And we'll do another cool flyby. Or maybe we'll do it from a different direction. I like to make cool trailers for this game. I intend to make a bunch for the tournament, so... I say trailers plural like I've made more than one already. I haven't. I've just made one. But it was fun. I do admire Mongrel's endurance here. I definitely think we will be seeing a concession. But I admire his hanging on for hope. Surprisingly, this barracks might actually get... no, because he's going to take the city. But that barracks was very close to being finished, so that's kind of funny. Wouldn't it be funny if the barbarians took the city, but they won't? Wild. What's being built here? A shrine? Wild. All right. Waiting to see what's left in the tank for Axum. Surely not much. And there it is. The slinger taken out, hunted down ruthlessly, moving forward, securing this city. All right. We have the fall of Sabat. Between... All right. Yep, the war between the Greeks and the Axumites must be nearing its definitive conclusion. Oh, and to topple it all off, the signs of Armageddon. An earthquake in the entirety of Axum.
All right, so my leader is now doomed, and I think my empire is also doomed. Might be a good time to concede.
Indeed.
Good games, man. Good games. Some fun times.
That was good, man. Thank you.
All right.
I still get it. The amphibious boat is still cracking me up over on my side, by the way. I'm like, 9 damage? Where the hell is 9 damage coming from?
I know, but unfortunately, you were able to kill my city without having to stand on those close tiles.
Well, you sure slowed it down. Good defense. Good defense.
Yeah, I was ready for you with axes, except I spent all my money on some stupid event like 3 turns before. And when I went to upgrade, I was like, I don't have any money to turn my 2 warriors into axes. So that became that was a problem.
Well, you delayed my 3rd city a well-established annoying amount in the early game.
And it only cost me militia to do it, right? So.
Hey, no, honestly, solid econ. I think you delayed it by like 4 years, maybe, which really actually held some stuff back.
Yeah, but then ultimately I just couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't. You just overwhelmed me, and that was my first multiplayer game. So there's so much more shit going on than when you just play regular game, and the not having undo means you gotta be a lot more intentional about your military moves, which I'm still getting used to.
Oh yeah, like don't be wrong, like I would love to make multiplayer content, but I can't keep up my yapping like I do in my videos. Like when we're actually doing this, it's nothing but just complete dead silence here in the office.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. But hopefully my second game will go a little bit better. But that was good. Thank you for that. That was fun.
No, of course. Always happy to play more multiplayer, man. If you ever want a cloud game, let me know.
Okay, sick. Well, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks, guys.
Before you go, hold on. Mongrel, I just want to chime in here and ask you a couple questions. Moose, you as well. First of all, great game, both of you guys. Moose, I have to imagine you were sweating when you had to retreat that warrior and you saw that the champion seat was settled right outside your front door.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, come on. I'm going to get cheesed the very first round. Here we go.
I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I thought you were done for. Great job taking advantage of the artisan's culture boost there and being able to rush out that second warrior with the civics. I know that probably hurt a little bit, but the fact that you played greedy, you settled artisans, you went sages second. I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, Moose might get locked out of no champion seat.
I was so happy to find that final city actually up in the north. I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, I can actually get another one because I saw the mountains further south. I'm like, if he's locked me out from that southern portion of the map, then he can like heavy expand. I thought I was gonna get like Ishtar bombed or something.
Oh, 100%. And that actually brings me to the 2 questions I have for Mongrel. First question is, why didn't you had free access to this southern continent? What was your thinking behind a strategy of perhaps why not maybe hopping across this bay and just kind of ignoring Moose, maybe building up, fortifying the champion seat, and then just basically playing a tribal game and expanding, gobbling up all this territory down here. Because by what I can see, I know you guys can't see this, but there's a whole nother 6 or 7 city sites down here.
6 or 7?
Yeah, there's a massive amount of city sites. It seems like you guys got unlucky map gen, and it's because we have, I think it's 14 city sites on this map, so that's a regular sized map. It's just this river here cut it in half.
Yeah, so to be honest, I knew there was stuff down there, but for whatever reason, I just thought there was just like a little bit of land on the bottom. I didn't realize it was that deep. And also I knew I was going to get rushed at some point. So the idea of having to move any military away from that, like it was just like this champion seat face off, right?
Right. That does make sense. My second question, though, and I have to ask, I apologize, but man, Mongrel, 20-turn navigation. 20-turn navigation, and
I didn't even notice it was 20. That was okay. That was just, this is my first multiplayer game, so there's a lot where I'm just kind of like, okay, gotta do this.
Of course.
Yeah, that was a bit of an accident.
Of course, and
I didn't even need the orders. Most of the time, I was over on my orders anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. And when you're up against a timer and you're playing multiplayer, it's certainly way more stressful than a regular game. Like Moose said, he can barely even make content because he can't even talk. But I was
trying to multitask on that one is just wild. Like I tried like in the beginking of this match and I just got halfway through. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut up and start focusing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was thinking one of the main things that blew my mind about the way this match panned out was Mongrel ended up with a champion seat on the coast, whereas Moose had his champion seat landlocked. So I was sitting there thinking, with a 20-turn navigation, oh man, if you just filled the ocean with ships, with where Pella exists and Patras currently, you could have completely shut down the majority of Moose's build queue by going heavy navy. And of course, there's no way you would have like really been able to foresee that. But I was just sitting there thinking this entire time for about 10 turns, like, oh man, build ships. So it was wild to see that it didn't play as big of a factor as most of the chat thought it was going to do.
And I tried a little bit, like I built a ship, but it was just, because it was so tight, it was just this inevitability of like, I'm going to get crushed coming through there. And I know you're better, you played a lot more, especially multiplayer, so you're going to be better at the strategy of all of it. So I was just like, okay, how do I delay that? And all I could do was, squeeze out one ship to kind of like annoy you for a little bit until that was kind of it. That was like, it was definitely in my mind. I just couldn't execute that side of it.
Of course, it's always difficult. But yeah, any final thoughts from either of you, Moose or Mongrel?
I mean, like the classic, like you hear it in every comment section or every like chat when these games are going on, that Navy is like very underutilized, but it's a very high, it's kind of high risk because you're committing a lot of production to go into boats that if you get invaded by a land force, they can't really assist you. They're fantastic for harass, and here, especially with the positioning of Pella, it definitely could have been a major hit, but it wasn't even something that I was looking into. I mean, if I was paying attention, I could have been able to do the same thing to a duelist with the exact same positioning, and you get to see that it's in that positioning from the map, even without vision.
Right. All right, well, thank you guys both for the amazing game. It was tense from the very beginning. I was talking through most of it, so I did enough talking to make up for any silence that was going on in your game, buddy. Yeah, I basically did shut up the entire time. So you both played very well, and good luck in the tournament going forward.
Thanks for the commentary, Sion.
Take care, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Take care, guys.
Later, guys.
All right, and that's going to be the end of the stream for us. Thanks again for tuning in. Let's take a quick look at some stats here. They both built similar amounts of military units. Moose did get that free hoplite. So they both had 10 technologies, similar level of improvements. So honestly, very similar development from both players, but just Moose managed to crawl back from his position here and just do a massive mass upgrade into spears and launch his troops into Sabat and ultimately crush the Axumites. Thanks again for watching. Please tune in for more content. Check out the playlist, and if you don't know how to find the playlist, we'll have links up throughout our YouTube videos. I haven't gone back and posted links to the playlist in each YouTube video, but we will do that. And always, you can hop on the Discord and join the conversation and the action there. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Siontific, and this is the Old World Community Tournament. Take care.